Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to another conversation, where we talk to some of our users at APItoolkit and learn about them, about their stories and how they use the platform, and if they hate the platform or not. Hopefully not. So so today I have Michael on the call. He's the co-founder of Payfonte. I would let him introduce himself. And so maybe introduce yourself.
Hi everyone. My name is Michael. CTO and co-founder of Payfonte, not Payfont. Uh, so yeah. So
Sounds
Payfonte
French.
is it is actually. So it's fusion. It was first Pay Fusion, then Fonte is the French of fusion. So that's how it came to Payfonte. So, um, yeah, Payfonte is a payment orchestrating and payment aggregating platform that helps chain of businesses to have access to multiple providers, multiple payment gateways, providers, platform with just one integration across Africa. Basically, that's just basically what we do.
And you guys are based out of Ivory Coast as
Yes,
the
yeah,
business. Is that why, it's the French mix? Fonte is the
and
French word.
yeah, and yes, and we're also serving a lot of French countries, so we have to just find a way to bridge the gap.
Okay. Well, thanks for, agreeing to have this chat with us. Um, so outside of that simple description of Payfonte, maybe could you tell us a little bit more about like the problems you're solving and maybe why you guys decided to solve those problems?
Yes, so I think part of the problem we are solving is to bridge a gap between the payment ecosystem because there are so way many payment gateways, payment platforms, somebody collecting payments, there are so many channels, and there is no collective platform to put those things together. Was why we started this as a whole. Then we also noticed that so many merchants also or business people want to collect money across just their country, and it's always the hassle when they have to when they are not able to do this locally. And for example, Shopify platform right now, there is no local payment platform for um, most francophone countries. Let's say Ivory Coast, let's say Senegal. There is none. So you're either stuck to doing cash on delivery, or you're stuck with doing Stripe, PayPal, which is basically USD payment. So this also gives them the ability to also have a local entity where they can easily just use to collect payments, irrespective of where they are. So we can collect payments from Nigeria, from Ivory Coast, from Senegal on that same platform. So that's basically what prompted us to solve this issue, to bring all those payment platforms together.
So does that mean you support? I noticed in most of Francophone Africa, there's this strong mobile money presence,
Oh
like in
yes,
Cameroon.
yes,
So you
oh yes.
support those as well?
Yep, mobile money from there's MTN, there's Airtel, there's Orange. There's so like they are so much into mobile money. So yeah, we do support those ones.
I remember
Actually,
like
not in fact post country.
remember like 5 years ago, there about 6 years ago, a friend of mine, Smile, we were working on something in the payment space, and he was like, "Okay, why doesn't Shopify support uh or support these countries or the payments providers in these
Yeah.
countries?" And so he went to interview at Shopify just so he could ask them these questions. Sad that nothing has changed since 6 years now.
Yeah, that's not strange because we are trying to get into the Shopify ecosystem by trying to apply it to be one of their payment partners. But it has been quite a hassle because I think they stopped collecting, they stopped the partner registration. I don't know why. So we're trying to look for other ways because we have quite a lot of people waiting on us to get that across to them. So, because most people, I don't think they really have they really spend cash over there. It's mobile money. Enter your phone number, pam, you're done. So it's the same process that
Exactly.
everybody wants to be seamless across all platforms. But hopefully, it gets better.
And there's such a low MasterCard, Visa card presence over there. It's so low.
Very, very, very low. Very, very low.
Yes. Anyway, so I think it's a very interesting problem, and I'm really happy that you guys are solving this problem. But just coming to API Toolkit, for example, maybe could you tell us about how you use API Toolkit or why you found the need to even care about product in the first place?
Why I find the need after the shaking we have seen from providers. The need is there, please. The need is there, please. so,
Hey,
yeah,
what kind of
we
shit?
have
Okay, please go.
so we have a lot of pain points coming from our integrations. We have a lot of integrations. Last I checked, we have over 96 integrations. That's across countries and their payment platforms. Visible, some are not visible. Tracking all what goes in, goes out, and the ability to fight with the providers has been a big issue for us, because these are network requests going back and forth. The provider can say it didn't get to them, and it got to them, it got a response. So there are a lot of issues we faced with provider integrations from multiple countries, multiple layers, that we just had to find something that could help us. Yes, we had a login infrastructure that we could log out all of these things to, but it wasn't as it was APItoolkit came at the point whereby we needed something more structured that we could easily just make this as a source of truth for everything that goes in and out. First instance that goes in and out into the platform, to our platform, and everything that goes in and out from our platform to the providers. So that was basically what it has been awesome. To be honest, that has been a lifesaver.
Oh, that's
When
nice.
you can explain with evidence. That's basically how it is. So
I'm very interested in, you made a statement so you can fight with the providers. So now I'm
oh
very
yes.
interested in
Oh
what
yes.
kind of trouble you've experienced with these guys.
Yeah, so when it comes to money, right, there's always a big
Mm.
hassle. How money moves. Debit someone, you credit someone along the line. My debit and credit might not show up, and the providers are saying they don't know about it because probably they're large. For example, let's take MTN for example. They are really large that it's so hard to get them to check something on their own end, because it's an issue that you guys from your own end. We got a successful response. We verified twice, correct. The outcome are telling us that you can't find a transaction. So that was with API toolkits. I saw this in that now. So, but with API toolkits, I just go there, copy the link to that particular request that shows everything about the request. I just send it to them via an email. This is everything that you gave to us. So with that, yeah, you have to explain with more evidence that you're not just coming here empty handed saying that this is what it is. This is actually what it is that we have on the platform here. So that is basically part of the shaking that we see every time because of how it goes back and forth between everybody.
So you use this like sharing request functionality,
Yes,
generating
sometimes
public
you just
links for
do.
requests.
Yeah, we do. Most times you just do screenshots, and they just put it in email so everybody can see it. Because putting it in the link is giving them the awareness that they didn't click on the link. So sometimes you put the link, then you put the screenshot. So okay, this is basically what it is. So yeah, so
Mhm.
we do, but most times you just put a picture there so that they get to see it.
That's lovely. I think you're probably the first person I'm speaking with who's like using who's used that link heavily.
Oh yeah.
But interesting. So you heavily rely on logging the requests that come in and then the requests that go out
Yes, yes, yes.
for
Yes,
forensic
because
purposes.
yeah, exactly. For auditing also, we need to also know what is going on out. Like I said, it's in it's in two ways, right? The customers and merchants interaction with our platform. Then also that, for example, when they call our APIs to charge someone, when we send them a response back. And then also the second layer is from us ourselves to the providers. So we need to also so we use this also keep track of everything that goes in and out, basically. So we are able to stay on top of issues, able to troubleshoot issues faster. Like I said again, to fight with evidence, very, very important.
I really like that statement, fighting with evidence. So what was your first um maybe the first question is how did you even find the platform? And then what was your initial impression when you like used it the first time?
So yeah, so I was looking for a platform that could help us log API requests, like back and forth. I checked. I know, yeah, we could use tracing for this thing, but tracing doesn't give us the what we actually need. Tracing shows us things like, oh, your request is getting slow here on the DB request, is calling this other service. But we needed something that could tell us that this API request, this is what went in, what went out, what we got from the raw data that I got from the because for example, right now, when you are logging a response from an API request, I'm pretty sure that you can't log everything because why want to log all the headers, log the response body. So there's so much thing that you might miss along the line. But then I think I came across one of your tweets on Twitter talking about API Toolkit. And I was like, let me just take a look at this. And I said that this is part of actually what we needed to improve our login stack to make sure that we have this visibility on incoming, outgoing, both on customers and merchant side and provider side. So we saw it on Twitter then. I think we tried it out. I think I jumped on the call with you after that to get a bit of an explanation. And yeah, here we are today.
Were you using, I think you mentioned in the past that you use something like Elasticsearch.
Yes, APM. Let's start APM. Like I said, APM is just I think they also have their own tracing also. It's just a tracing basically. They are not opening your capture coming in and coming out, data coming in and coming out. So it was not fulfilling as I thought it was. Yeah. Yeah, it does the job well. I believe that was not what we were intending to build via APM. So the APM works as it should, but we needed something extra because of our kind of business.
That's very interesting. So what was your initial impression? Was it like, okay, this really does what we want? Or like, what was it? Or was it like, what the hell is going on here? This makes no
So
sense.
no, because I think for us it was quite a match made in heaven because it was what we were looking for that we saw. So I think even before I jumped on the second call with you, I was only focused on the incoming request parts because we're having a lot of issues with merchants calling our APIs and they're having issues. So I was focused on that, thinking, well, let me just focus on this first. Let's just see what is going in and out. What are you sending to us that our log did not capture? That was the thing that, so it was like a match made in heaven. Before we now started seeing the outgoing request tab, and oh, that was perfect. That was perfect. So yes, so yeah, a match made in heaven, to be honest.
Thank you. Okay, I wanted to ask you, how it addressed your needs and challenge, but I think you've answered that, so no need to ask. So, how has it improved your workflow so far? Like, compared to what was your workflow before? I imagine you use it in, like you said, debugging merchant queries.
Yeah.
So in the past, would you like go to the database and check for things, and now you can like skip that database check? Just what is your workflow now
So
like now?
so in the past, it has been more of try to find the request ID, whatever I can do to find the request ID, then check database, check login infrastructure, just trying to find anything that is attached to that request ID, which some will come up or you'll see. But now it's just more of you have the request ID. Even the merchant provide the request ID because we append it to the headers for every request. So it's way to troubleshoot. Once you get the request ID, first things you just do is just go to API Toolkit first. Go and see what the merchant has coded before you're not gonna start checking the whole login platform to see if there's an error somewhere. So with that, you're able to focus more on where's the first point of contact, the API. What did you send? What did we get? What did you send back to you? From then on, we can easily figure out where the other extra layers are. If we need to go back to the database, go back to the login infrastructure to pull more data out. But making that first point of contact has eased a lot of issues for us because they are mostly merchants cooking something that is not being cooked with the API, that should not be cooked with the API. So we are able to easily tell them that, oh, this is probably where the issue is wrong. Try this other way out, and we don't have to do much. So yes,
Maybe you're
that's really
hitting the wrong
improved.
endpoints or something.
Yeah, with the wrong payload. For example, calling a francophone payment endpoint with an amount that's a decimal. In our documentation, you don't send decimal for francophone countries. They don't use decimals. Then we just thought, okay, this is just where the issue is. Just revert back on your own end. Just imagine we had to scour through the whole logs and stuff just to get that it's looking at sending decimals that's causing the issues. Yeah, that's just an example, so that it has really improved our workflow a lot.
Do you use, because you mentioned, you have to go check the log to see if there are any errors logged. Do you make use of the error tracking on API Toolkit?
Not fully yet, to be honest, not fully yet, because our main concern has been the incoming request and outgoing request, just to see most of those things. But we haven't really used it fully yet. So most times when we check API Toolkit to get a data, we probably go back to our login to pull out more data to see where the error comes in. Yeah, basically, but we are not really fully into the error tracking yet.
Just for context, so what it does is, maybe if you're on the latest version of your SDK, depending on your tech stack, if there are any exceptions or errors, we basically take those errors and the stack trace and all the details and associate it with the request. So
Okay.
that, when you open a request, if there was an error, you can just, you see the request details, but you also see, okay, these are all the errors that happened during the process of, I don't know,
Okay.
processing this
This
request.
request lifeline. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That was. I'll probably take a look at
So,
it.
so that can, at least if for issues where there was an error, it can reduce how many places you need to go check what went wrong.
Absolutely correct.
Just 1 second. I have some questions, but some of it we've already talked about. Okay, so the last question, or the second to the last question, or whatever, is
Right.
how does API Toolkit compare to other tools you've seen or used in the past?
There's no comparison, to be honest, because this is solving a specific problem that everybody for example, that I want, right? Others are not solving that specific problem. So I'm not sure it's a comparison, to be honest. It's just on a league on its own. I don't know if there's any other platform that does the same thing. I've not seen, to be honest. I know I looked for, I've not seen, and I'm probably not looking for again. So they'll be fine. They'll find their customer. So it's really so yeah. So I don't think there's a comparison, to be honest, because this gives us a leverage that we need, what we basically need. So I don't think there's a comparison that we can make.
Okay, then do you have any feedback for us? We're trying to solve, we want to make life easy for engineers, engineers who have to build systems, who have to depend on other people's systems. What are the things that you think if we release could make your life easier?
So that's subjective, because the way we build our infra is quite different from everybody. Um, um, if I say what I want, it necessarily not means it's necessarily not going to be a good thing for someone that if I'm just running a one stack kind of platform. We are running a service oriented architecture, which means you have a couple of domain oriented services doing their thing. So my suggestion might not really, but on a side on the dashboard, if you can just give me a search, not really a search bar, yeah, a search that I can just drop in an ID and it gives me everything that relates to that ID. That will be fine, to be honest. Give everything that relates to the ID, from request coming in, request going out, response coming in, response going out. That would actually be a big improvement, as we don't have to keep on. You can easily see everything that has to do with a particular ID on just one place. I think that didn't work well. But on the integration and implementation side of things, I think the easiest thing that has been done is to give us SDKs, and then with SDKs you can easily use it to do whatever you need to do on your platform. For example, on our platform, you have to wrap it into one of our libraries, so it's easier for every other service to install and use. So that's the easiest thing that can be done and has been done. So
Okay, just about the first point. We can, the search we have right now, does it, is it not flexible enough, or is it that you want a more, like a general search, like a regex search?
So most times, okay, the way we use API Toolkit is most times we go to ask and request, search for what we need. So what I mean is a general search whereby I put an ID, anything color correlates to.
Oh, I see. So maybe this use case is already solved for you and you're just not aware. But
Oh, it's
I would
possible.
like to do a demo, but I have to check if I have a project that has this set up. But you can open a request, you can search for a request, pick a field. You can, if you expand the body, you'll see a filter by.
Hmm?
Let me see if I can open the project. And filter by, I don't know, the incoming request. And when you expand incoming request field, you will see the outgoing request that we triggered.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, problem with this calls is I don't know if this test project would have something that is nice to show. Let me see. Do we have outgoing requests in here?
I wanted to ask, were you able to move the SDK to the MQTT
We've
framework?
not rolled it out yet. We've not rolled
Oh,
it
okay.
out yet. Yeah, but so the plan is that it would be transparent to you as a user. So right now we use Google Cloud PubSub
Yep,
heavily,
yep.
but just behind the scenes, we can easily switch between any of them.
Oh, yep.
So for you, you probably will not notice any difference. For us, we would just be saving more money. Let me just share my screen and show you what I mean. Even though
Okay.
this project doesn't have outgoing requests. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can.
So this doesn't have outgoing requests, so bear with. But if you expand any incoming request, we have this tab that shows you all the outgoing requests that was triggered by this request.
Okay. From that particular request.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so usually
Okay.
you see it as a list here. Yeah, this is like a test account, so
Yeah,
we usually have
but
to
what
pre-populate it.
what I mean as a lazy person that doesn't want to do anything for himself or want to go about is give me a search bar. I drop in my request ID or whatever ID that I know is part of data that is coming in. I put it there and it just gives me a download of outgoing requests, incoming requests, errors, any that has to do with that ID. That's just like I said as a lazy person. So
I
so
see
yeah.
what you mean. Yeah, we'll explore it. The problem with very generic search is just that it becomes very slow.
But yeah, that's
Very
true.
slow.
Yeah, it goes very slow, yeah.
But for now, you can always click on a field and say filter by, and
No,
then
yeah,
you can
yeah, this
you
works
know you can
perfectly well
edit
for
it
now. We are totally good
and
with
edit it.
this.
Okay, so I would explore this more and then maybe work together. This IDs, does it have to be, just anywhere in the body, like anywhere at all in the body, in the headers, anywhere?
Okay, so in my own scenario, the one thing the one thing that correlates all requests from every service down to provider, if they don't return back a response to the same thing, is a request ID. So we made it intentional that we pass the request ID to wherever it is we are going through, from the API gateway. Sorry, from so most times Cloudflare helps us generate a request ID. So we use that request. If Cloudflare doesn't generate a request ID, the API gateway does one automatically. So we make sure that we pass that request ID down to every service. So any endpoint that service wants to call, it keeps on going back and forth that way. So we can easily track the flow of everything we are trying to do. So in our scenario, we have this ID that we can use to look for anything we want to look for.
Is it a header? Is it basically a header field?
Yeah, for us, it's in the other field.
All requests have the same header with the same name.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like I said,
you can actually.
For us, it's intentional. So yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah. I think for you, you probably can already do that. I would confirm, but I think you
Oh,
can,
okay.
go through the body, go to that header, search by it, and it will bring
Just for
both
it.
the
Oh,
incoming and the outgoing requests that have
oh,
a
that works.
particular header. But I'll check
That
and
works. Thanks a
then
lot.
advise me.
It's totally fine. So the thing for us is that the basic thing we need to solve is done already. Yes, you might like all this announcement, all these wonderful things, but the thing we need to solve has been solved already. So yeah, it's totally fine.
That's a good place to be.
Yeah, it's a good place to be.
Okay. So thank you. Thanks for sharing this. Let me see.
So, well, is it like, is there any art feedback? To be honest, okay, so, sometimes the SDK times out, but I think that's fairly okay for every platform. So I know it's Google pops up, so it's this. So yeah, but that's basically the only major issue we have had is just the timeouts, and it happens rarely. Happens rarely. So it happens mostly when we are doing a load test. Yeah, it happens when we are doing a load test. So, but I think that's fair enough. So, and hopefully
Hope it
this
doesn't
new
have the
upgrade.
request. Does it impact the
Ah,
request in any way?
yeah, I would say it does, but it is very negligible.
Okay, this is very valuable feedback because
It's very negligible.
our goal is that no matter what goes wrong, we should not impact the request. Like your customer we should be invisible, in some
Oh,
sense.
yeah.
So
So
that's our
when I say
goal.
impact, I don't know mean the impact I mean is in latency, but that's just
Oh,
all.
okay.
That's just all.
So it doesn't like fail the request or something.
Nope. It does not. It does not. If it does, you have seen me in your DM now.
That makes sense. So maybe instead I can ask some things that we're working on to see if they're valuable to you. How do you handle testing within your platforms?
We have unit tests, and then we have end-to-end tests in Cypress at the moment.
Oh, okay. Do you find value? So there's something we're exploring, which is this basically test end-to-end tests for a given API, and we realized that since we're able to generate Swagger, which is improving and getting better, but we're able to generate this Swagger from your traffic, that we can actually use the information in there to basically create tests, to figure out what is the user's flow through your application, and then generates this end-to-end test based on that information. Is that something that you find useful for your use case, or is it just you already have tests for every single thing?
You don't have to test every single thing, but we're able to capture the important parts, for the customer's journey. I think it's going to be a wonderful, or at least to some extent, it's going to help you look at the behavior of the customers or merchants. So if I can go to API Toolkit, for example, like you said, and see some couple of tests that predict a customer's behavior based on the request going in and out, it's going to give a bit of an insight. So the testing part is what I'm not sure of, but the insight to see an assumed customer journey is, I think that's valuable.
See. Okay, that's interesting. So being able to see the flow visualized in a clear way on the platform, even outside of the test, is a feature that is useful.
I think that's valuable because, like I said, customers will use your API the way you did not build it for, the way you didn't think they will use it, they will use the APIs for it. So that gives you an insight to see the behavior and be able to prepare better for.
I see.
So that, I think there is a bit of a value in, basically.
But the use case of scheduling some tests to be run every, I don't know, 1 minute, 5 minutes. It's more
To be
nice to
honest,
have.
yeah, it's a nice to have, but I don't think it's a core thing for us. To be honest, for us, I'm speaking on behalf of Payfonte at the moment.
Okay.
Yes.
But you find at least being able to see all the errors and track all the errors that are happening in your platform.
Yes, that's really helpful.
Good for us.
It has given us an edge in the long battle between consumers and providers. So now we can charge forward.
Okay. Did you have any challenge or learning curve when you started using?
Yes, a bit of a learning curve when it comes to navigating the dashboard, especially part when you want to see data, and I didn't get it fully at first, but it was easier to pick up after. Like, by the time you play around it quite a while, I think a couple of calls we had also helped. So, but by the time you play around it a bit more, you get to see much. You get to quickly learn what this and this are, where this is, and navigate your way around it. But that was just the learning curve, a quick learning curve, yeah.
So okay, that makes sense. So I guess there's still some improvement we have to do, to make things smoother. Is there any what would you say to other people, other companies like yours who maybe they're on the fence about the API toolkits? Would you still recommend it to them? Is there anything you'd want to say to people like that?
Well, it's not of what I want to say. It's more of it's something that they have to use, in my own opinion. It gives them an edge when it comes to tracking all of these things. So to people like that, you are definitely have to use API toolkits. There's no this is not a marketing. Yeah, it's a marketing. You have to use it, basically. So that's just it. If you see that as a marketing campaign, that is fine. But that saved our lives, our assets a couple of times. It has helped us figure out a lot of things. It has helped us with the rate at which we're able to resolve issues has gone up. So yes, if you are in a payment platform, for example, or in precise, you need all the help you can get when it comes to visibility and logging, basically. So yes, it's a must.
Thank you so much.
If
You wanna go?
unless the ones keep on saying Shegesha, so they are good to go.
All right, Michael. So thanks again for having this conversation with us.
Definitely, my pleasure.
And any final words actually for us, before we end it?
We are in for the long haul. That's just it.
I really appreciate this. And I really also, as I really appreciate you as a customer because I mean, a lot of very valuable feedback and a lot of positivity. I mean, I'm not gonna pretend like APItoolkit was always perfect. I mean, you've sent me some screenshots of some things that, and I really appreciate all those feedbacks over the last year or so. So thanks again, and
Yeah,
so
thank
take
you,
care,
Lottie.
everybody.
Yes, boss. Have fun, boss.